Y'all, welcome to this week's episode of our Real RaD collaboration. I'm Relly.
And I'm Delly.
And again, we have the cast of the Real Talk and Banter podcast, Omari Williams and Jay Richardson.
Hey guys, hey everyone.
Part two. It's for the podcast. Yeah, collaborations. Thank you guys so much. This is our second episode of our crossover series where we are going to be reviewing and reacting to the Lantern series currently premiering and streaming on hbomax. Thank you everyone for joining us here today. Now, let's just get into it really quickly. How do we feel about this episode? Thumbs up? Thumbs down?
Definitely thumbs
up. Oh, you know, I actually agree.
They're cooking.
Yeah. You know, I actually thought that they should have probably released the first two episodes together as like a 2-part premiere, because I feel like the first episode was setting the tone, but also kind of just like made me uneasy about like, where are we going? I needed a little bit more. And I felt like this did the good job of doing so. And also, I think the finale of this episode was a little bit more successful as far as setting the tone of the direction of the season, what the characters' objectives are, and what this mystery is about. Kind of.
Okay.
Agree? Disagree?
I disagree with the double drop. I don't think it was necessary. I did think episode 1 was good standalone, and episode 2 just did what it was supposed to do, which is to keep us engaged and push the story forward. As far as this being a stronger ending than episode 1, I mean, I guess if you know who Sinestro is and you like that, like, ooh, Sinestro's here, but outside of that,
I don't know who Sinestro is.
Exactly. So I'm curious to know if Jill would agree with you. I would assume Jill would disagree. Well, I don't know, but the way episode 1 ended with the alien outing himself, and then we having to flash forward to, oh shoot, in 10 years, Hal's about to die. To me, that was more captivating than the Sinestro drop, especially because I already knew Sinestro was going to be in the show. So for me personally, but great episode though, great stuff
for sure. I think the flow of the second episode was more consistent. I think by the time we got to the end of the first episode, it was kind of like and I wasn't really excited, even though we had the big explosion. I think the second episode was more consistently interesting for me. Okay. But I do acknowledge that it was able to build off of the first episode. And if it was like a 2-hour premiere, it would have hit more for me. But I am more invested.
Yeah, I agree. I don't know if the 2-episode, I don't want the 2-episode thing for myself, but I definitely think how it would be better for a lot of other viewers if they would have got both of those together. Because I definitely feel much more on the positive side for the show after seeing episode 2. Because episode 1 set up the tone. It was a little jarring at some parts, but you know, we got it.
Excellent. All right. So we're going to jump in and we're going to walk through the episode as it is. We're going to talk about different things. We have elements, of course, of like the story as a whole, some of the characters, some cinematography stuff, maybe some sound design, which spoiler alert, is very limited so far for this season. And then we'll talk about the ending and what we think really at the end of the episode and what we're excited to see, and then touch on some of the mystery we think is going on in this series based off of the second episode. Okay?
Cool.
For sure.
Sounds excellent.
Yeah. Now, this episode starts off and Hal proceeds to alienate the shit out of John. Honestly, crazy. He's crazy. You know, this bitch took me back to like some of our youth group sleepovers and stuff like that. Bitches throwing water on you while you're sleeping.
I remember that. I didn't partake, but I remember that.
It was some wild shit.
Toothpaste
That happened to me
Trauma.
once. And that shit made me mad. I felt like, yo, how for real? Somebody needs to like bust you on hard.
You were effed up. You were mad. It's coming back to me in my mind. You were pissed off.
And you know, Hal is very much in this same thing. I think the problem for me with Hal is that there's no reciprocation, there's no balance, right? He is very much intense towards John and just very distant. But then when it comes to actually teaching him and coaching him, he's not really productive, or I don't think he's very intentional in even schooling John on how to be a lantern and use the RaD. You know, Omari, what are your thoughts right now on their current relationship and their dynamic as it unfolds in the series?
I would say the strongest thing about the show is the chemistry between Kylechandler and aaronpierre. Like the Hal Jordan, Jon Stewart relationship. Yes, there's that contention there, but you don't get that without these actors having chemistry. And I think their chemistry is amazing. Like Kylechandler right now is acting his ass off. Like he is in his bag. He is very interesting to watch. He's a cool guy, but also he's an asshole. And it's just like, I'm like, watching him, I'm like shaking my head, rolling my eyes, I'm chuckling. It's just, he's doing all the things. And it's funny how you mentioned about the intentionality of the training, because he's like, get up, I'm going to finally teach you how to fly. And he's like, all right. He couldn't do it. First of all, he just says fly. And he's like, but that's not any coaching.
Correct.
When he fails to do it, he's like, all right, I need you to get on a plane. The whole thing was literally just about him going back to go get that lantern from him, right? So I feel like how Jordan does this thing where he seems like he may be incompetent or he don't care, but like he's not bad at his job. He's bad at people. And that's what he's bad at.
Yeah. I can definitely say this. Now, Delly and I had a conversation a bit about just some of his personality and something that we thought was particularly mean-spirited, right? So keep this in mind. The bitch ring was f***ing dead.
Yes. 5%. Like, you gonna have me trying to fly with 5%?
That's the other thing.
It's those things. It's like, bitch, you're evil. Girl, you couldn't fly much on the charge that the ring had. So it's like those moments where it's like, now Halverston, you're looking wicked. You're looking evil.
And we know no one mourns the wicked.
No one mourns the wicked.
There's definitely some resentment there, right? Between Hal, like, towards John, right? Because we did talk about like John's worthiness or whatever, but we saw some more evidence of how talented John is or ultimately will be at the ring. And how he had some problems, like every time, like during that same flight sequence when he took the ring back. Well, I guess John manifested a bird, right? He took the ring back and the bird didn't go away. And Hal was just like, what the? And Hal was so fixated and obsessed and pissed off about this bird the whole time. It was childish because it's like, dude, as a teacher, you want to see your students to grow and get better and even outshine you if they can. And Hal Jordan is like, nah, man, like, I'm the Green Lantern. All this bullshit that you're doing, like, he's not ready for it mentally. You can see it.
I think that plays into like how Hal treats John, right? And Omari touches on it, like, you should be happy of the student eventually surpassing you, but also Yeah, there's very clear resentment. If you've been working your entire life for 20 years and then somebody comes along, you're like, what's a jump shot? And they're throwing threes at you. And you're like, what the fuck? What? How is that possible? So I understand why Hal is kind of reluctant to teach him more, especially if he's not ready to give up his identity as the Green Lantern, because he feels like he has something that he needs to finish with this whole town in Nashville. So, I mean, I get it. He's an asshole, but I get it. And plus, like Omari says, there's like, even though they're outwardly kind of hostile towards each other, there's still a level of respect that's starting to form. I think the bird scene was super important, of showing us what John can do even without the ring, which is like, I guess not supposed to be possible, right? As soon as you take the ring off, anything you manifest is supposed to disappear. And he held that thing. That man was knocked out, thrown in traffic. He was literally unconscious. The bird just tweeting next to him. I was like, how is that possible?
Stressors thrown at him. He just was. He was good. That was crazy.
It was pretty amazing. I do have to believe there's a method to the madness with how Hal is training him. But I think you definitely hit the nail on the head, Jill, because it's like you look up and your kids are 30 and you're like, oh shit. Like, I'm old now. Like, I'm on the way out. You know, so it's that type of thing. Maybe, mortality, essentially, which we know he's gonna die. So it's crazy.
Oh, it's true.
Do we find Hal Jordan unlikable?
Personally, yes.
You do. What about everyone else?
I've been going back and forth.
I don't find him unlikable.
You don't?
Oh, yeah.
I don't find him
either.
No.
I think I think the charisma he's approaching the role with, and that's where I really commend Kylechandler, because I guess obviously he's rubbing you wrong, Joe. So that's the line he has to walk. He may turn some people off, but I feel overall it's really successful in the fact that even when he does, and I'm not asking if he does unlikable things, he does. But I feel like he's able to pull us back in with his charm and just the way he's acting and portraying that role, which I just think is very impressive, what he's doing.
I completely agree. I think he's definitely approaching lovable asshole for me. Whereas in episode 1, it was like, girl. But we're slowly getting there. So by the end of next episode, I'll probably love him. So.
Got you.
I need some more. I feel like the lovable aspect is definitely like 20-80, lovable 20, asshole 80. And like he started to make some headway with other characters that we'll get into, but he's still always like just like loops back around. And again, before we move on, I understand most teachers aren't teaching someone to replace them. And specifically,
that's also a good point.
So it is hard to have that love and adoration. It makes me think of American Horror Story. You know what I mean? And like the Supreme, like you have to find it in you to nurture someone whose growth and development means the waning of your time and your position and stature, and it means the end of you. Their success means your end. So I understand him, but I'm not fully there on his side yet, but he sends John on to go and get the ring. He already has the ticket. Now, already having the ticket. Oh yeah, sorry. He sends him off to get the lantern. Thank you. He already has the plane ticket, which honestly, I think it's just being responsible. It is kind of a because you don't believe in me. The ring is dead as shit. He has to knock it on a car trunk like a 1980s jukebox, which is ridiculous.
It made me think of blowing in your video game cartridge, man. I'm like, damn.
You feel like when you hit your batteries together, like, I got a couple extras.
We were, my goodness, I don't want to go into attention. Absolutely, Jill. Wow, knocking batteries. Hell yeah, absolutely. So he goes, sends John on this errand. Hal discovers that the metal detectors outside of the field are not working. So he barges into the town hall, acting like an ass. I'm like, you bitches talking about me? And very much makes a scene, of course, scooches his way in.
That was fun.
Which,
hilarious.
I do feel like the people inside of there were like, well, girl, either stand up so I can move in or you move down. One of the two. But I came from my seat, bitch. Pick one. Move down or get up so I could scooch down. But they were not having it. They're icing him out of this freaking town hall. And little baby husband boy is in there whispering to him and like,
sorry, what was that?
Little baby husband boy. He was
Billy
like,
Macon?
Billy making her.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, Billy. Okay.
Yeah.
I thought it was baby husband boy.
Yeah.
Okay.
I heard baby as well.
It's absolutely.
That's what I said.
Absolutely.
Okay.
But his government name apparently is Billy.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So Billy is like, hey girl, my daddy got you out. You can leave. And he's like, no, I got some shit to do in town. So they were whispering the loudest they could possibly whisper.
It's like they were whispering on a helicopter.
Absolutely. And she's like, hey baby, hey hun. And now Halverson, what would you say to that?
Listen, hold on. That scene was so funny, right? When she said to him, I had a few laugh out loud moments, and Hal was responsible for like all of them. When she said, I have like 30 seconds of patience left, and he said, oh good, I only need 40.
I only need 40.
I only need 40.
That was hilarious. And the delivery, oh my god.
He was winning me over, right? That's only because I don't really much like cop bitch anyway.
Yeah.
But it was ridiculous, right? So basically, she forces him out, tells him like, girl, you gotta get out. We have town business to deal with. His phone rings and he's like, I got shit to do anyways. So it's John speaking to him, finally made it to his mansion. And I thought that this was really an important kind of like vignette into who Hal is as a person. You know, Hal has this very big house, this palatial estate, and he explains that he was gifted this mansion by this guy who he saved his son or something, and he didn't want to emasculate anymore, so he took the house, right? And John is like, so girl, when are you gonna move in? He's like, I've been living here for 8 years.
8 years.
I got a bed.
He's like, you have no furniture. He's like, I have a bed.
Yeah.
Did you keep... There's before he went up the winding, I don't know what those staircases are called, the double arch staircase. If you look past that room, there's a big screen TV in a room, and there's a folding chair, like what you would have on the beach or whatever, in front of the big screen TV, like just a folding chair.
Wow.
Yeah, man. I was like, what the hell? This is tough.
I gotta go back
for sure.
I gotta go back. We've been in our house like looking era, and I was too much looking at like the chandelier and the floors. Honestly, miss. I'm like, bitch, this house is good.
Yeah, it was overwhelming how big the house was.
Yeah, he was like, oh, how much do lanterns make? He was like, not enough. Honestly, this house was a gift, bitch. Don't get comfortable.
Hey, now, John asking the big questions though. Okay,
correct. Absolutely. Because
so what's the salary?
Yeah, it's an important question that like a lot of hero movies have addressed down from like, you know, a lot of post-Endgame stuff when we see the disbandment of like the Avengers and we see them struggling. A lot of the times people really don't think about the fact that like superheroes outside of saving the world do not get a paycheck. They're regular people. Yeah. And a lot of them don't have money, really. Outside of Bruce Wayne and Tony Stark. Right, them bitches are rich.
You can't really hold down a job.
That's what you need to fund your Justice Leagues and your Avengers. You gotta have those billionaires funding it, or else.
We always need a sugar daddy funding these heroes, or else the world is gonna burn straight to hell. Because nobody is paying us. Okay. Now, when he goes inside of his room, he goes inside of his closet, and we see John have a moment with the suit. He asked Hal about, do you want me to bring this suit back? And he makes like a flippant joke, like, sure, if you can tell me how to take a piss in it, for sure. If not, leave it, right? And we see John have this moment of reflection, right? And I think it was just a little bit more insight into this not just being a job for him.
Right.
But this being something that he really does want.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And it took him back, I think, to his childhood and like his core belief on this, despite all the stuff that him and Hal, the back and forth, the bickering or whatever. Like he does have a certain reverence for what this is and what this entails. I think seeing the suit just kind of like, oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah. So he calls him on speakerphone, gets the secret password for this amazing like interdimensional vault to get the lantern. All the while, Hal, the menace that he is, has broken into the morgue and has absconded with not one, not two, but 3 alien corpses.
Why did he need
Did you
all
need
the
all?
corpses?
All
Like,
of them.
I don't know.
He had to double check
them all.
just in case.
I think one would have been enough, right?
Nah,
No.
you still don't know. You don't know. One is just like
You
it's
don't
an
know.
accident.
Each of them.
Yeah.
If we do the scientific method, you need a larger sample size. Yes.
Correct.
But
Yeah.
damn.
Correct.
That was
Pure
wild.
madness. Pure madness.
Unhinged.
Pure madness.
And it's moments
So-
like that where I love Hal the most. Like him jumping out of the car and letting that jettison off a cliff and like figuring it
I was
out.
screaming.
Him grabbing all the
He was
corpses
screaming.
in his rental car, breaking shit
That's
up.
what you're here for.
I love it. That's my type of carrying on.
Nice. Nice.
Yeah, a little bit of something for everybody.
Mania.
We glossing over the lantern reveal.
Oh, true. But yes, okay. Let's take a step back. Right? He reaches in to this vault, the little birdie, which is still
Pocket dimension.
existing, goes into this pocket dimension, and he finds the lantern and pulls it out. I thought that
How?
it was
Oh,
gorgeous.
true. Go for it.
How the hell did he find that in the pocket dimension with like?
That he's supposed to.
He's just he
okay.
did it.
It's just written. Okay.
And you know,
Show, what are you talking about?
actually,
It's a
That's a
pocket
good
dimension.
question.
And your problem with the pocket dimension existing is that he found something in the pocket dimension, not that
Yeah.
the pocket
No.
dimension existed.
No, the dimension
she's
exists. I'm
actually
fine with
right.
that.
What are we
How
talking
the hell
about?
did he find it?
she's actually right, because I
Yeah,
did
it's just a
think
void.
like it was like chasmous, right?
Yeah.
And you could see his hand not touching anything until it did.
Yeah, it came to him, guys.
Yeah.
Move on.
Oh, it just comes
Just
in.
swoop in.
Right. We're going to touch more on that, but I do think that the lantern was gorgeous. I thought it was beautiful. We saw
I loved it.
the reverence with which that he pulled it out and
Yeah,
placed it
very
down.
careful.
It was beautiful. It was very beautiful to see.
Nice
You know?
set design. 100%. Nice prop. It was very cool.
Yeah. If you could feel the weight of it, I'm sure
Yes.
it was practical, but it did have special effects on it, of course, especially like when it's charging.
So, because I actually watched the after show stuff.
Ooh.
It's an actual prop
Lantern?
design. Their prop design people designed it to look like that. Whoever VFX is on it probably punched it up at the color and stuff. But
Yeah,
no, it
for
was
sure.
actually designed. They created that in house. Yeah.
Phenomenal. He's walking through the house, right? Where he goes and he has to find and feed Earl in the greenhouse. It's a freaking man-eating plant. If anyone has watched the Harley Quinn cartoon adaptation, in my mind, I was like, bitch, is this like a plant from Poison Ivy? Poison Ivy had Frank on that, which was like a talking man-eating plant.
Okay.
And
No,
I
never
don't know
watched.
how much of it was meant to be, but on that one, it's called Frank. I mean, it's owned by Poison Ivy. But I'm like, I don't know how much I don't know where this is supposed to go,
I don't
what
think
this is supposed to do.
I don't think that's supposed to
Or what
go
this was
anywhere.
intended to.
I think I just assume that's just some alien plant that he found when he was off doing one of his adventures and he liked it. It could be an alien plant from Mogo. The password was Mogo doesn't socialize. Mogo is a sentient planet that's a lantern also. It's weird stuff.
Oh, wow.
But it
Yeah.
could be foliage from that planet or something. But I don't think I think it was just like a little throwaway thing that they put in there. But we'll see. You know?
We'll
We'll
see
see.
if this happens to tie into the Queen Supreme sister Poison Ivy. Remember, you're to hear first.
That would
From
be
Ren.
that would be wild.
would be
Priority wise,
crazy.
I don't know what. Like, who gives a shit about Poison Ivy? Like to introduce her.
Fucking Mike.
Okay, all right.
No, it's called world building. It's called world
I
building.
understand world building, and
And if
uh-huh.
if we go back and we look at a lot of the stuff that the MCU did and put little Easter eggs and things, years in the past, little clips and little scenes and things that grew into something and became something. We don't know. We've heard that Gunn wants this to be, his magnum opus or whatever, like his big thing. So maybe he has a bigger plan than he's willing to talk about.
Well, he does.
He's floating things.
Not maybe.
Yeah.
He does. He's the head of a studio. He has to have a huge plan. But I was just saying.
That's yet to be determined. Now, John leaves the house. Immediately, I was like, bitch, you're about to be attacked. And he absolutely was. I don't know how he walked out the door, turned to put the rock down, and them bitches were on his back like a backpack in the 90s. But they descended on him and started working it. I had hope that he would not be taken.
Correct.
And I was mistaken.
Yeah.
I think if there weren't aliens, he would have gotten away.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So he gets taken down the back of the van. And we touched on it a little bit where he wakes up and he's like, bitch, where my bird at? I'm like, oh, he's up there. I'm like, okay, cool. He wasted no time
immediately.
Yeah.
and started fighting.
Yeah.
And started like tussling with them. The bird like helps him make an escape. Honestly, one of the best scenes. The fight scene on the van was insane.
That sequence was insane.
Well, can we call that a fight? Because he got worked.
He tried.
Anytime somebody ragdolls you, you're done. You're done.
He took that bitch out the back of that van.
That's true.
He got out and he started running.
Nah, he was doing pretty good. When he threw that triangle on him, I was like, oh, okay, nice. But then alien dude just picked him up like he was a piece of paper. I was like, oh. Because I didn't realize there were aliens at first until he picked them up so easily. I was like, oh.
Yeah.
Oh.
Okay.
Gotta be
That bitch is damn ceiling.
Yeah. I was like, John is a big dude. Like, you know, even if you can lift him up, you're going to struggle. But he just picked him up. I was like, oh, these people are not of the world. Okay. Now we're on a different mindset. But I didn't realize that at first.
And to John's credit, he was like, I'm going to run away.
Yeah.
Ain't no shame in that.
Which is fair.
Absolutely.
Now,
running like hell. Running like hell.
Yeah.
Hey, me, I would have ran to the median, then ran. He said, I'm going to run down the street and cause a pileup.
For sure.
Yeah, I don't know why he was running towards that other cars, but okay.
You know?
I don't know if he was just following the bird, because the bird was kind of like leading him. I don't know.
He definitely was running to try and catch up.
Yeah.
He held on to the lantern as best as he could. Get sideswiped by a van.
Yeah.
Sideswipe. That shit hit him. That man is dead. That man is dead. I don't care what they say. That man is dead. But okay.
All this is just
for the sake of the show.
The rest of the show is just the aftermath. He's dead.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Right.
Now, Jill, he wakes up after being knocked unconscious for the second time, and he's in captivity. Now, before we go on to talk about exactly like who he's with and who ended up getting him, I wanted to touch on something that you mentioned in the first episode, right? Where you talked about the actions of John when it came to like his improper use of the ring. Right? And his lack of worthiness. Now, some things that we just talked about, for instance, we talked about already, like, this bird shouldn't even exist, right? He's been knocked out twice. Then, even to being able, because I have to assume, if I was to be inside of his house and I just stuck my hand in that damn void safe, I couldn't find a lantern. What do you think so far, right, as a viewer, on those type of symbolisms, right? The longevity of him making those symbols, him even being able to find a lantern. How much of that do you think is just whatever? And how much of it is like the ring and his worthiness being displayed?
A great question. I think I don't want to confuse worthiness with like talent, right? Because you can be good at something and still not be deserving of it. But that's just my personal thing from what he did first. And, you know, he's young or young-ish to the craft, so people make mistakes, as they all do. Like, how many times has freaking the charmed ones done personal gain? Even though they're like, hey, don't do personal gain. So it is what it is. So, yeah, I think in a way, how they touched on it, they're showing that, you know, he is worthy. he may be more talented than Hal. He might be the one, the Green Lantern. I don't know if that exists in this world, but they just need to let John cook and see what the hell he can do. Like, that's what I need to see.
I completely agree.
That's what I need to see.
But Hal is afraid.
Yeah.
Hal is afraid of that. So he is dampening his shine, giving him even those opportunities. I do want to touch on something that you talked about when we talk about deservedness versus skill, right? Now, when we talk about skill, I want to add in also conditioning and preparedness. The series started off when we saw John's dad and what we all, unanimously declared was psychopathic behavior and shooting the apple off of his head. But how impactful now has his upbringing been to the fortification of his mind, his concentration, his lack of fear and everything that would make him be able to maybe not create the bird, but sustain it after being knocked unconscious for damn near 6 hours twice.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
There's nothing you could do or say to me that would frighten me if I spent my childhood being shot at the head and on the head. At the head. There's nothing you could do.
By your dad.
By your father.
By your dad.
Well, I think we're gonna have I think the next episode is gonna be a Jon Stewart episode, so I think we get to explore these things in his childhood.
That'll help.
And
that'll help.
For sure.
And I presume that we will also, I hope that we'll also see the Guardians approaching John so we can kind of get some more context as to why are we even doing this? This whole
Thank you.
Lanterns.
That's the question I wanted to ask. I didn't want to ask it, but I did want to ask it when you asked me about his worthiness. I'm why is John here? What is happening?
I think the show wants you to ask that question. I think it's going to answer it for us. So you have to be patient and watch.
I think that's part of the fun.
I'll watch the next episode.
I guess in another episode, we'll also get to see. Okay, it looks like Hal maybe fell out with the Guardians, or we don't know what's going on there. So there's multiple questions, being layered, right, underneath our big mystery of, yes, there are aliens in Rushville. Why are these aliens here? But there's other things that the show has to reveal. So I think we'll get there. We'll get there in time.
Absolutely. Now, we see that Hal is pulled over by Sheriff Kane.
Kerry Kane. Yep.
Kerry Kane. Yes. So he's pulled over by Sheriff Kane. They have a back and forth dialogue, and she ultimately is like, "Girl, don't pursue this. You need to stop." And he reasonably discusses with her jurisdiction. He was like, "Well, bitch, first of all, you said I needed space aliens. We got aliens.
Yep.
So when is this girl? When do I clock in, Heifer? This is me now." And she was like, "You don't want no parts. I done told you that evil daddy on the ranch is not gonna like this shit." And he was like, "Bitch, take me to the house." So he goes to the house, goes to the ranch, and we see that his welcome is far overstayed. They tried to turn him away at the gate. He has his banter, which again, I find him rather funny and interesting.
Dude, you
when
love
he's
Hal.
being an asshole
You love
to
Hal.
people I don't like. I like to, but I do think I'm gonna tell you exactly what turned me off again, because it's coming. Because ultimately, it's really only one relationship that I just don't like and I'm not feeling. But we'll get there shortly. So she goes to the compound. Evil Papa basically admits that it's his alien detectors. Right. So. And I need to watch this again because it was like, well, hold on, girl. This is your field. You set up the damn alien detectors, so you knew that was there. So you basically, how many other places are rigged with the alien detectors? We know that he has a problem with aliens and he wants them dead. And it's like, what all do you have going on?
Okay, what about the benefactor? Who's that?
That's my biggest question. Who is his benefactor?
I think it's Lex Luthor.
What's the,
Lex Luthor?
Oh, you think so?
I don't know.
That was a huge question that I had.
We don't know.
It could be. If we're talking about DC millionaires, billionaires, Lex is like the obvious person to go to. And we saw Lex is in jail, or he was.
No. He's not in jail yet. We're in 2016.
Not yet.
Yep.
So then if this is 2016, Lex is really, well, he's in his 20s. now, probably. He's still pretty young.
Yeah.
Okay.
Could be.
We'll put a pin in that.
Sorry.
No,
We're
go
good?
for it.
Yeah. Here's my problem with the whole entire town of Rushfield, including Cowboy Dude. I don't know. Either. Like, there's so many instances where I feel like there should be a bigger reaction. I know I touched on this last time too, and you guys were just like, well, it exists, so everybody's like, cool with it. But I'm like, still, like, Sheriff Carey pulls over how he has 3 dead bodies, 3 alien bodies in his car, and she just casually like, oh, well, what you got here?
So I'm saying we have an intergalactic space cop openly operating on Earth since 1986, dealing with aliens and all kinds of stuff or whatever. Like, it's not unbelievable. People are desensitized to aliens to a certain extent.
Yeah.
Right? So, I mean, especially her being in law enforcement, she has to see shit. She sees stuff that civilians don't see. She might have to cover up different stuff because, as she said in the episode, she doesn't want this to like become like a wildfire situation where it snowballs and everybody gets all she's an insurrectory or whatever, where everyone's all rioting and she loses control of her town.
Another aspect, Jill, that I think would help is keep in mind too that the town is being played from like a Pleasantville perspective, right?
That's
where
also
it's
a
like
thing, right?
Uncanny Valley, where it's like everyone knows, but if we made a big deal about the thing, they're trying to actively lower his suspicions and interest in what's going on, and being reactory to everything that would be going on would only reinforce his wanting to investigate and his presence in the town that obviously has shady dealings on multiple levels. Just on the locals and what they understand is going on.
Agree the town is super
to, like,
suspicious.
The council.
The town is,
you know?
that's what I was going to get to next. Like, she's first, but the town itself, first of all, I've never seen a town gathering where every single townsperson is literally in it. I'm like, what? How big is this place?
It's a small town.
Like it's multiple perspectives. So like one, yes, in this world at this time they would be familiar, but also if they can't react because like it's business as usual, buddy. There's nothing that's going on. We got the guy. The guys are dead. You should go. You know. So those I do think that like everyone is on the same page, actively being like. Be chill.
Yeah.
We have our secrets. We need them gone. What those secrets are will be revealed more. But yeah.
I think to pull on the thread, Joe, that you're grasping at there, it's clear that Macon has some type of obsession with aliens or whatever. These alien detectors being put up, that's him making his attempt. So it's kind of almost like he is like dead set on protecting the town, because there was a comment that Carrie said where when she and Hal were finally having a heart-to-heart and trying to kind of reset their relationship, right? And she said that, listen, I don't need people thinking that Macon's the one in charge here. And it kind of looks like those people, they might feel the reason they're kind of okay is because Big Daddy Macon is going to protect us from the alien threats or whatever, you know? So I think there's some of that going on here where there's some complicity throughout the townspeople and everything. I do agree there's some of that in there. And we have to see what, you know, as it evolves.
Right.
Yeah. Okay. So Hal pushes, you know, tries his luck on the property. You know, he was good until he wasn't. You know, bitch, even I know stand your ground laws. Get off his property. He got a gun, girl.
And you can't do that.
And your rings are
you know what? With your white ass, you don't know that he could shoot you, bitch.
You're in the middle of nowhere, Nebraska, of course. I'm not too Trendell. I'm like, you don't have any protection. He was bluffing. He was bluffing. Yeah.
Well, guess what? Ring, ring, ring. Bluff call. Bitch got shot. Okay? Shot that motherfucker. Warning shot in the shoulder. Okay? Now we jump and John is awakened. He's in like this holding center warehouse really quickly. And they discuss with him that manhunters are essentially what they're looking for. They explain, and we're gonna like go, you know, speed through some of this, but they essentially say that like Hal was supposed to dispose of a manhunter, and he did it. they have suspicions to believe that Hal didn't do what he was supposed to. He didn't get rid of that manhunter, and now the manhunter is in Rushville, Nebraska. And we need you to see exactly what's going on. So they put this device, John refuses to like go with them. They want to recruit John for like their mission. They put like this kind of like gun, laser beam, whatever thing to his head and gives him a vision of all of the things and atrocities that these manhunters have done.
That made me laugh because they're like, "Oh, we won't torture you," and then they proceeded to like torture him with all the things that their people went through. I was
atrocities.
Like, "Oh, okay."
Yo,
literal atrocities. Oh, you have to see. I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
I think he believed you.
Yeah.
There's a scene in Andor where they torture this girl. And they torture her by just putting a headset on her head. And we can't hear what she's hearing. But what she's supposed to be hearing is the millions of screams from these people that are being eradicated, like this genocide is taking place on this planet, and she's just hearing all the screams of the people, and we don't hear anything. The scene is silent, and you just see her face, her reacting. It's very gut-wrenching and bone-chilling. This reminded me of this. Andor did it better, but this reminded me of a similar scene. And aaronpierre acted it really well, but the whole like having your protagonist experience the horrors of a dying civilization. Whew, that gives you chills, man.
Yeah. They eventually let him go. They give John 48 hours to find a manhunter and execute them, give them a call and let them know, or else they're going to blow Rushville off the map, right? So Hal wakes up in the hospital with Sheriff Kane, he had a through and through in his shoulder, and apparently he's been talking in his sleep. He has like a kind of like a flirtatious back and forth. I don't really want
me either
a romantic relationship between the two of them. I'm fine with a flirtation.
So deal with it.
Okay, well.
You heard it here first.
I mean, they're foreshadowing it, so I'm just saying, don't be surprised when it happens.
I won't be surprised if they do, but I hope that they don't, right?
Why?
But we already have one philandering grandmother. We don't need another philandering.
But you guys said
in the same family.
Well, hold on. You guys said last time it looks like she's not in like a healthy, loving marriage, and she's like they're under duress.
Get a divorce.
Maybe she does. I don't know.
If she does, then whatever.
Moving on.
I'm just saying, if she does, then fine. But like another torrid love affair, we already have one that I don't find particularly interesting.
Call the other one a torrid love affair. It was two adults who hooked up in a bar, and that was that.
Well, there's more to that. We're going to get into that later.
You think so?
There is. Absolutely. But hold on for 1 second.
I just don't think every story needs a love component. It doesn't have to have like a couple situation.
But Trendell's sex. It sells.
I mean, it does sell. And I buy it. But at the same time, it doesn't have to be there.
All right.
It doesn't.
Now, I was just curious to know what you guys thought.
We do see that they have like a great banter. He lowers his guard a bit, apologizes. She lowers her guard a bit. They level with each other. And then as he's leaving and being signed out of the hospital, as we already touched on, he the only bitch on the sign out sheet. Rooms are empty. New machines are new, still wrapped in plastic. Yeah. And we could kind of see his suspicions still rise. And she kind of he reverts back to being suspicious, and she reverts back to like, girl, mind your business. You have a bullet hole in your shoulder. You gotta mind your business, baby. Like, mind your business. Ultimately, we also find out a very great reveal that Sheriff Kane is a transfer from Gotham City.
Yeah.
Gotham.
That was actually hinted at last episode. So when she, in episode 1, when John walked into the police station the next day to get Hal out of jail, if you're listening, she's wrapping up a phone call, and whoever she's talking to on the other line, she tells them, send Barb my love. That's a hint at Barbara Gordon, who is from Gotham. She is Batgirl, Oracle, depending on what version it is, Commissioner Gordon's daughter. So there was that hint, Easter egg, as Joel, you was talking about world building. So they planted that seed from episode 1 And it paid it off very quickly in her confirming that she is from Gotham. So now, in my headcanon, that's confirmed. She was talking about Barbara Gordon. She and Barbara Gordon are friends in my mind. So that was cool. I got excited at that. But if I could just take us on a quick little tangent, because that's the second time in the episode where there was a like a little tongue-in-cheek moment. Because when she says she's from Gotham, Hal says, "Is that all you're gonna give me?" And that's kind of like a fan, like as a fan being like, "Oh, tell me everything. She's from Gotham. What's going on with Gotham? Where's Batman? When's the Batman movie coming?" All that's like, that's as a hardcore fan, you're thinking all these things, and they're like, "Easy,
absolutely.
That's all we're gonna give you." The other time was earlier on when they told John about the Manhunters, and he just sat there and he's like Jill, who's like, "Am I supposed to react to this?" And as a fan, we're like, "Oh my god!" Like, I'm losing my shit because Manhunters have been introduced to it, right? But John is like, "I don't know what the hell that is." So those are just two tongue-in-cheek moments for people that. Something for the fans, but some people who are not fans who are watching, they can just be like, "Okay, I'm confused too, so let's just keep it pushing."
Yeah,
let's just keep it pushing.
It could be borderline a little too cutesy, but I was fine with it. Yeah,
I thought it was good too. And as somebody who doesn't really, I don't really know what a Manhunter is. I would say they gave a really good, like, atmospheric description of like how bad a Manhunter is.
Maybe.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Maybe.
The perception. Maybe. Because if you watch things like Young Justice,
So, yeah, and I know we're going to do a DC thing towards the end, right? So we'll circle back down, though. But
we'll put a pin in
might
that.
have to question. We might have to question our narrators if they're reliable or not.
Oh,
we'll come back.
Gotcha.
We get a flash. We see John finally released from his kidnapping. Walks into the diner in town where he sees,
concubine.
Grandma Sexpot concubine Crone
what is wrong
sitting by herself. He looks over his shoulder.
Sex concubine Crone.
And she invites him over, and he initially refuses, and then he joins her over in the booth. Now, Delly, I know you have very strong thoughts on her setup, what's going on. Tell me, what were you thinking and feeling in this moment when he ran into her inside of the diner?
Zoe in the diner as I live and breathe.
It's a small town.
I'm just like, Jonathan.
She said that.
Jonathan.
He's okay.
Walk out.
He had me up first because he's like, I just need to clear my head. I'm like, rightfully so. You were waylaid outside of a mansion, kidnapped, forced upon trauma. And now you have a lot to deal with in 48 hours. So, sister, I understand.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's great. Don't deal with her. But, slowly but surely, you go over there to Zoe, and you're like, you know what? I'm just going to pour. I am having trouble trusting Hal. Why are you telling her that?
Zoe is a witch.
She gotta be.
What?
Yeah.
Wait. What was wrong with this conversation? I'm
glad you asked.
She is a broad that he met at a bar, had sex with, and it was supposed to be done. Why are you confiding in her?
Her family, her grandchild, her husband, her family. And then honestly, I found this conversation to be one of the most somehow hollow conversations acknowledging race in this world. That I particularly was not satisfied with. The two of them waxing poetic. She's talking about the audacity of what this man can do as a white man while also performing the audacity herself to her own degree here in this town.
She's not a white woman.
Actually, exactly. That's my point. That's my point. To me, hear what I'm saying. Mm-hmm. The conversation about whatever struggles she feels like she's going through, it doesn't really hold up because she's not some in captivity, buttoned up, kind of like we snuck away and had a fling or whatever. You publicly on the street in a truck, right? So
you really mad about
this?
You really are.
I'm not mad. I'm not. What I'm saying is, hear me out. Let me finish. What I'm saying is the idea of he's doing all of these things and white men can do things and get away with it. I think she exhibited things that one can argue that's like, well, this is very crazy for you to do in a relationship with a very uptight, very conservative white man that owns weapons. And we have yet to see you, not a black eye, not a bruising, not a threat, not anything. And for me, it lowered like the conversation a bit because she's not some like tied up princess in captivity.
She never said that she was, though. She didn't indicate that at all.
I didn't say that she said that. The conversation is about whiteness, their race, the capacity that they can perform and operate in this town based off of their race, their alignment with white men to be able to do more, get more, have more accessibility, money, wealth, etc.
Oh, that's true.
That was the conversation. Yeah, okay. But I think because she's also somebody who is a woman of color, who was doing things that, like, we at least see John being disrespected by his white partner the entire series, right? There's no information to show that she herself, we know that racism exists, misogyny war exists, which will affect not just black women, but all women of color, as she is a brown woman, but there's been no visual representation on the screen of her having any real type of
evidence is not evidence of its absence. Not because you haven't seen it doesn't mean that it doesn't exist.
Of course, and I understand that, but what I'm saying is this conversation happening right now, that's supposed to be this big, like, oh yeah, I'm with my white man, I do my thing, our relationship is what it is. You know, I gotta go where I gotta go. I gotta do what I gotta do. I gotta have my white man, he takes care of me. You know, he has the audacity to walk around and do all these things. And, girl, whatever, I don't care. There was no gravity to the conversation. I'm sorry if it changed your life, but it didn't change mine. I think it was not worth being on screen.
I like how you dodged that straight.
I don't think she's...
I don't know who the f*** is directing that towards. Like, Jesus Christ.
I don't think anything she's done is impactful yet. I don't see the relevance of her other than I think that she is brainwashing him in some way that we don't yet see.
Oh my God.
She is not human and she has abilities that have yet to be addressed.
Well, but she's the man.
Other than that, it don't make sense and I don't like her.
These are strong feelings about that. I think I'm sorry, go ahead, Trent.
Oh no, what I will say, the whole racial aspect of it all, I thought that was cutesy. You know, where your white man at? I thought that was nice. That's fine. I'm not worried about that. But what I'm worried about is really, I feel like as much chemistry as Hal and John have, her and John do not have. Mm-hmm. I don't feel like they have enough chemistry for him to be, like, just confiding in her, like, okay, first you didn't know who she was. You were talking about, you know, being, you know, the Hal Jr. You were talking about that before. That's fine. Mm-hmm. Green Lantern's being out and proud for X amount of years. That's great. But now you know who she is.
Yeah.
And then she's the wife of this Macon man who is running all kinds of muck. And you're going to be like, you know what? Mm-hmm. Now that I think about it, me and Hal are kind of on the house. Like, what do you think about that? So, no. That's
crazy.
There's not enough, like, emotional investment for him to be divulging that information.
That's
like
what
that.
I feel.
I honestly don't really care as much about this scene, but I'm just surprised how much you care about it. Jarrell, but
okay.
Oh no, Jarrell, like he really cares about it. Like,
why is it in here? Why is it in here?
Hold on. So I'm gonna tell you what I got from the scene. I didn't really bump up against why he confided in her, as we say, confided. I don't even think what he shared with her. I don't feel like anything crossed the line or was too much. I think he was curious to know about her situation. Yeah. I think he was embarrassed at the fact that he slept with this married woman and he wanted to just kind of get that out there. And then she actually went off on her tangent about how white men could do this or whatever. So I would fuck around every now and again, and it is what it is. And that led to there was this weird conversation about race in there as well. But to me the only meaningful takeaway of the scene is just John questioning Hal and being unsure, and that's resolved to a degree in a little bit later when we see him grapple with, should I tell Hal about this bullshit or whatever. To me that was the whole point of it. Yeah, they dressed it up and all this other stuff, but I don't know. I wasn't really moved one way or another about what was going on. I'm more shocked at how much you were moved against what was happening.
And I think that's also my issue with Zoe. because she's always just like a device. I mean, it's only episode 2, so everybody relax, put down your guns and stop throwing chairs.
But it's true.
But she's always a device. So he slept with her, and that took us to the makings. Like, he's having trouble with Hal, or like, he's coming to feelings about with how he feels about Hal. And then the next scene is kind of resolved. Yeah. She's just kind of like shoehorned in, I feel like. Maybe,
okay. Thank you. Yes, I hear what you're saying there.
A big part of it.
She is a random character, kind of, so far. We have to see if they're going to flesh her out more or whatever, or she becomes more important to the story. I don't think she will be, though. I don't think she's anything. I don't think.
And that's the biggest disservice. That's the biggest disservice.
I think she's what you're saying, a device to get John to different parts, or to get us to hear some of his inner thoughts. I think that's all she is there for.
I submit this. I submit this. That's where I think the three of us disagree with you, is that we think there's a lot more going on with her. That I'm very surprised that for you're taking this bitch at face value. I'm very shocked. And I'm trying to assume that everything and everyone is important and there's more going on than we can see. And secondly, if she turns out to be just an innocent, horny lady, I will put her on a list that I have with Trendell. Whenever we watch things that's called the damn bitch list. The damn bitch list is when I accuse someone of doing wrongdoing. They turn out to be innocent, often innocent, and then die. And I'm like, damn, bitch.
I'm so sorry.
I slandered your name. So I'm willing to put her on it, but I really do think there is more going on with her, because if not, this is just unnecessary. I don't need you to fill that 6 minutes with lacklustrous chemistry between the two of them just for him to say whatever. He could be doing it with Kane. That would be more interesting.
It would be more interesting, but it'd be less organic. As far as, because you were saying about me taking her at face value, I just feel like there's so much other stuff happening in this show that's way more interesting. I'm just not interested in Zoe. I just think she's there. I could be wrong.
Right.
I'm not sure how I would feel if she is revealed to be, which is fine. I'm okay with being wrong.
John makes it back to the...
Okay.
We gotta wrap this up, baby.
We gotta
go. John gets back to the motel. Random thing. They're in room 14145. Numerology. Does that matter? I don't know, but I look at these things and it's been whirling in my head. Did I do research on what the number 5 means? Not much, but I just wanted to lay it out on the table for you guys here. So, all of the good faith that I had with Hal this episode is pissed away because, again, the malice, and I think just the nasty spirit energy that he has for John always comes to the forefront. The second John comes, right? Bitch, we didn't talk about him tearing up that damn Toyota to walk through the metal detector. Girl, you don't got a pen, you don't got a quarter, you don't got a penny, you don't got a knife, you don't got nothing, bitch. You got a damn ring. I guess it's a space ring, so it couldn't set off a metal detector. But girl, you had to rip the bumper off. You're crazy.
It was excessive.
He's very nasty.
No, I disagree. I hard disagree. I think you're misreading Hal as a character. I don't think there's any malice towards him.
I don't think so either. I think it's all going to come out that he has his reasons.
You're misreading that character, dude.
I think he's just literally tunnel vision to do whatever to get the answer.
Yeah.
So,
exactly.
Hold on.
Yeah, he could find a middle piece somewhere, but it's right also just right there. So you just grab the nearest thing.
I would give you to say, I could probably accept that if when the simple part, right, like for real, man, when he's talking about how he tore up the car, like you might want to check on your deposit. Nasty. He's talking about the car and everything that's going on. And it's a nasty shit, man. That shit was fucking nasty. And then
funny, man. Dude, you're misreading Hal. I promise you're misreading.
Okay, but hear me out. Hear me out. I understand y'all take, but hear me out. I'm not done. John looks at the car. He goes against what I would do. Me personally, Hal, go yourself, girly. I wasn't telling you shit. And not tonight. Not tonight, because that shit would have set me off. I was mad as hell looking at that car. I haven't think about destroying property and costing me money.
Willpower.
Oh, that's the key right there. Okay.
And
Heard
that's
the other
fair.
way.
But I would have not told. Maybe we could have talked in the morning, but I wouldn't have told him shit. He tells him everything, and then John even confronts him, and it was like, and them hoes told me, bitch, that I did shit that nothing else could do, and I'm the Green Lantern Messiah, which couldn't be true because if it was, you would have given me an attaboy, and he said attaboy, and
Oh my
you could.
Dude, time
And
out,
like,
yo. What?
that shit was nuts.
Are we watching
That shit was hateful.
You gotta
I
watch
think he said
man.
hoorah, but you know,
You said
attaboy
hoorah.
works.
You said hoorah.
Same thing, girl.
It is the
All
same
I
thing.
know is
He parroted what John said. Like, he just said hoorah
it
back.
was, to me, the look in his eyes.
You really hate
Nah.
Hal.
Then
Yeah.
I
Dude,
don't hate Hal. I don't hate Hal, right? I actually empathize
you
with Hal.
misunderstand the
Do you hate his
character.
teaching method?
You're
Is that
misunderstanding
what
I
it is?
understand him very well. I
No, you
think
don't.
that you guys, especially you, Omari, have an adoration for him that, like, we can say that he is a non-perfect character, but then you won't say that, like, no, he has some malice. I think to
'Cause he
do
doesn't.
that, like, that's right. And then the concern in his face when he was like, and you gonna tell me what that bird mean? Like, what does that mean? And he's
I mean,
like,
I'm curious
"Girl,
what the
bird."
bird means.
And he broke it
Me
up.
too.
And I don't
feel like
think
it
it
does.
means anything. And I think that's the point. I think for Hal, that he can't even perceive what just happened unless it meant something greater. And I think that's kind of a
because
peek
John-
into
John just
how capable John
demonstrated.
is.
He just demonstrated some
Exactly.
abilities that is unheard
The
of, right?
advanced.
So
Yeah.
Exactly.
what you're seeing as malice, I'm seeing as one, what we talked about earlier of his concern,
Yeah.
his unwillingness to cede his identity as Green Lantern to somebody who's younger and probably going to be a better Lantern than he was. Like, that's not malice, dude. That's honestly I think Hal is starting to let some fear creep in. I'm wondering if we're going to see him have some issues with his power as
Jealousy.
the
Yeah.
show goes
Fear.
on. But malice, dude, nah, man, there's no malice there.
You think Green Lantern is supposed to be fearless? Like in that part of where the power comes from?
That's why
Okay.
I'm
Yeah.
That's what you're saying. Okay.
I'm wondering if we're
Tracking.
gonna see his power negatively affected.
Yeah.
So
Oh, like Spider-Man when he couldn't do his shit. Okay, got it.
yeah. So
Yeah.
I would ask that you sit with a character again, maybe rewatch it. I don't malice is
crazy.
That's a very strong word. That's given intent that Hal is like, I'm gonna with this guy,
Yeah.
and I do not think Hal is doing that at all. I think what you're kind of missing from what's overshadowing this scene is the same conversation you threw about the old lady, which was, how's a white man who has certain privileges? He's just doing shit, man. He's doing shit without thinking about how it may affect John or whatever. He, as Jill had said, he has a singular tunnel vision because he believes that he's right and he's trying to get to the bottom of it. So yeah, I'm gonna have to this shit up to get to my answer, and he's not gonna like it, but whatever. But I don't think Hal's out here being like, I don't think he's an op for John, and that's kind of what you're
Right.
indicating.
He's an op for John, and he doesn't want John to be 100% prepared. I don't think in a time that he's trained with him that he covered half the stuff he could have, and that is a choice and that is intent. And while we can justify the reasons and feeling insecure and being afraid of losing his job and all those other things that we've already talked about at the beginning of it, to say that he is not making the choice to make sure that John is ill prepared or having a proper communication with him at this point is a choice. John isn't just walking around by the seat of his pants like a little dumb baby behind of Hal the entire time. John is constantly saying, bitch, where's my training? Bitch, where's my training? Bitch, where's my training? Bitch, where's my training? Are you going to train me? I don't know how to do anything. When are you going to train me? Is this the training? This training sucks. And that is a choice. He's being reminded constantly and consistently that John is not really appreciative of the training that he's receiving. And I think that's a choice. But to what degree he's doing it, we can debate that. I don't think he's like, trying to kill John. But I do think that he made a decision, I don't know how long ago, to be like, he's not going to get my powers to a full degree. I learned how I learned. He'll eventually do it. He's the Messiah. He's really good with a bunch of shit. He'll figure it out. I don't need a replacement today. And I think the fear that if he made him perfect with the ring today, the expiration date on the carton of milk would hit and he would be done. He already has a shit attitude. People don't like him.
Something is wrong with you.
I'm being genuine. I'm being serious. But I'm just saying. But I'm glad we have these different point of views.
I don't think he's outright malicious either. You know, I put my little 2 cents in there. I don't think he's being malicious.
Represent for us, Delly.
Yeah, absolutely. Horse. But but I think the more we're talking about it, I actually think there is some concern on Hal's end, and he might be concerned for John. Like, he might know that something really big is happening and things are really going to get really, really bad. And maybe he's even like, it's his own way of like protecting him. The way he's teaching him, the way he's not really telling him information, that could be interpreted that way. And the more and more we talk about it, that's what I really feel like it is. Like, it's just something horrible happening.
Wow.
And he just got
from getting too close.
And he's like, don't worry about it. I want to do it. I'm gonna put on this suit and I'm gonna fly.
And that's
close.
That's something I haven't considered. We can't afford whatever song that was copyrights. Now, I will
that was literally like less than 2 seconds. That is not copyright.
Mama, this is not monetized. So, Hal reaches in the duffel bag, throws on his little slinky one piece, zoops across the sky, and goes to this secret jail cell, right? Talked all that shit about putting on that onesie.
Now, was it just me, or did the suit look a little weird? Did they build his shoulders out?
He got shoulder bands. It's from the 80s.
I think it's supposed to look kind of like a flight suit type of deal or something, I guess, for him. But yeah, I think people were bumping up on the suit from the trailer and everything. It's all right. I think it's fine. I mean, that is. What do you guys think about the suit overall? I guess
I didn't see anything wrong with it.
It looks like a suit of a bitch who's been doing this job for 30 years.
Yeah, and I think that's what it's supposed to look like.
That's been back in the closet. No, for real.
It was kind of crumpled up in the back, like a rag for sure. So.
Oh my gosh, what is?
To me, I feel like the shoulders.
Yeah.
No,
Trent,
for sure. It's like very classic. Because I do think that different lanterns had different looks. I'm excited to see what John is going to look like when he gets his suit, what that process looks like.
Yeah.
And if it's going to be different. So excited about that. But yeah, so Hal flies, goes to this secret, prison, and he walks in and he speaks with Sinestro. Correct. He goes to Sinestro, asks him about the Manhunters. They have a little back and forth, and he tells him like, yeah, the Manhunters are like the second biggest threat that you're facing right now. But tell me about John Stewart, or tell me about John, whatever he says. And then the episode ends with cut to credits as Human Condition by Pretty Sick Plays.
Such a good song.
The only song that really happens in the entire episode. But Omari, our resident lantern, librarians. What are your thoughts? I have some thoughts that we've seen already, but what are your thoughts on seeing Sinestro and some of the projections for like the greater DC universe connectivity?
Yeah, Sinestro looked cool. He looked like Sinestro that's been doing this for several decades as well. Like
for 30 years.
He's been in jail for a minute. So because usually Sinestro is like more of like a more slight build or whatever, but it looked cool. I'm looking forward to seeing what kind of interaction him and Hal will have, because that's for you, Jill, that's supposed to be like Hal's like nemesis, like his greatest like villain. That's like that's a Joker for Batman to Hal. That's so it was nice seeing how he was introduced, because I was wondering how they were going to include him in the show. So I don't know what kind of impact that will have in the greater DC universe, just further establishing that this Lantern Corps exists, and they've already been through some shit, because a lot of Lantern stories focus on like Hal Jordan and then his falling out with Sinestro, but that's old news now, right? Fucking Kevin Kane read it on a Wikipedia page or something, a news article. The Manhunters thing is the biggest thing for the future of DC, because the Gotham thing, while that was cute, we're not getting we're not getting Batman for several years, so we can just move on from that. Even though I would love for that to mean something more. The Manhunters thing is cool. Trendell was saying that a couple of things we have to think about. These aliens that are infiltrating this and who kidnapped John, we still don't know who these people are.
That's true.
What kind of aliens they are.
That's true.
Or where they're from, right? So we have to kind of keep that in mind. I don't know if we have unreliable narration here. I don't know if this universe is treating the Manhunters differently. The Manhunters are essentially Martians, right? And it depends on where they're pulling from in comic book continuity and everything, because there are two types of Martians depending on where you're pulling from. There are green Martians and there are white Martians. The white Martians are like the feral, like bloodthirsty, destroy a planet bunch of Martians. And there's stories where there's like a civil war in Mars where the white Martians kind of wipe out the green Martians. And there's one survivor of Mars from the green Martians who becomes a superhero. He's one of the founding members of the Justice League, actually, in the comics. Yeah. So in my mind, they're going to use this as an opportunity to introduce the Martian Manhunter into the DC universe, and I think they'll spend time hunting this guy down. Turn out that he's not actually this big villain. I think Abin Sur was probably whisking him to safety or something, and the ship got shot down, landed on Earth, and I think the Manhunter ran away for his life because Abin Sur was about to die, and he's been hiding low, and now these people are coming to try and root him out. That's just my theory. I don't know if that's what's happening for sure.
Goodness. I mean, so Martian Manhunter, not to be confused with Marvin the Manhunter, because that's something I would want.
I mean, Marvin the Martian. Like, no,
that's Looney Tunes. What is this? How does that play into this? I know it's all
not to be confused.
Hold on.
Yeah, so the Martians, they're shapeshifters, they're telepaths, so they're very powerful beings, super strength flight, that type of stuff, so we'll see what powers set they include in this show. But have my eye on this whole. I got very excited. Joel knows. Put Batman aside. Batman's my favorite, but the Martian Manhunter was one of the heroes I really liked. Yeah.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. And I'm not
funny
gonna.
enough.
Last thing, I'm not gonna. I haven't said his name, and I'm not going to reveal what he's supposed to look like in case I'm right, because I want them to be surprised if the
wait, you already know who the Manhunter is?
No, I know what the Manhunter is supposed to look like.
Based off of the DC Justice League cartoons from the 90s.
But I thought they could shapeshift into whatever.
Of course. Yeah, of course they can. They can.
But he still has an actual Martian.
He has a
form,
normal,
his true form.
But he has a Earth identity that he usually uses also.
Okay.
So if somebody shows up fitting that characteristic, in my mind, I'm like, oh, that's him.
Got you.
But he could be a man, he could be a woman, he could be a child, he literally can be anything. But if the Martian Manhunter has been introduced into it, he will have one form, that human-looking form that will be his base form or his default form when he's not in his Martian, get up or whatever.
Now, before closing, there's one thing I did want to address. It could be nothing, but something that I noticed. Right, Sinestro at one point was a Green Lantern himself. But Sinestro actually, after defecting, started the Sinestro Corps, and he was actually a yellow lantern. He had a yellow ring. Yeah. But his yellow ring didn't, it actually worked as the opposite from the green ring, and it worked off of fear. Right? It worked as a fear base. So now keep in mind that device that they use on John's head emitted a yellow light while it was showing into his mind all those horrific sights. Is that relevant? Who knows? But just things that I peeped and I noticed.
Yeah, that's a good point.
It'll be interesting to see where they go. But ultimately, I think it was a successful episode.
Great episode for sure.
Yeah, very excited to see what the next episode brings. You mentioned that you believe it's going to be a John episode. And that's going to be good. Yeah. We have a newly charged up ring. Hopefully we get some modern day antics as well as a little bit more insight on his upbringing. Yeah. So we can connect more with him and see, his path, from the 10-year-old to the 30-year-old becoming a Green Lantern and what happened in between. Yeah. So that he could be this kind of fearless person and we get kind of more of the building blocks into this and see him work towards his destiny of becoming a Green Lantern. I do want to see another peek towards 2026. Let's not go too many episodes without touching on that timeline as well. So hopefully we got some of that when they do a couple of juggling in the next episode. For sure. Okay. Thank you guys so much for joining us on another episode of the Real RaD collaboration. This was episode 2 of Lanterns on HBO. New episode of Lanterns every Sunday at 9 on HBO. And then join us every Thursday at 2 p.m. Eastern for our review where we get into it. We have 4 different points of views. We have Relly, Delly, Amari, and Jay breaking down these episodes. Damn. Don't you do that. 4 distinct point of views. Love you guys. Like, comment, subscribe, follow us everywhere. Real Talk and Banter Podcast and Relly and Delly linked below. Love you.
Bye.
Bye.
Mogo doesn't socialize.